New day, same me. No rush, I'm where I should be. Turn the noise down, see me shining. Low-key thriving, low-key thriving.
Harlem by Langston Hughes. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? Ladies and gentlemen, that's not me spitting bars. Langston Hughes, okay? And I feel super drawn to that for this topic because I don't know why. Maybe the age of the internet, maybe we see too much glamour on social media, TV, news. But when did healing have to be aesthetically pleasing? I don't remember ever scraping my leg, getting a scab, and it looking super pretty for my skin to heal underneath. Somewhere along the way, we lost the fact that healing isn't going to look pretty all the time. And low-key, we need to talk about it. What's up? You already know, I'm Mel G. I'm not a guru, definitely not a life coach, and I'm not certified in anything except for giving you my 2 cents. And today I really want to discuss and talk about what's been happening, okay? If you're a listener on the podcast, you know that I have been at Youth Summit, which is our big cheer end of season event. You know I'm an all-star cheer mom. And honestly, it has taken me over a week to recover. I am coming to you live, unwashed hair, like I haven't set my curls. If you're watching this, you can clearly see no makeup, black clothes. I picked up my Starbies today. I had to get my coffee fix. I've been living on caffeine and adrenaline for a little over a week. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and it's that like healing isn't pretty. So like I said, this is like a great example. I've been at this cheer competition, right? Tampa, Florida, for about 4 days while we were there. And it was a lot. It was a lot of movement. It was a lot of getting the kid ready, getting myself ready, getting to the venue, getting everything set up, getting where we need to be for awards, making sure my child is fed, and somehow making sure I'm fed and surviving and okay, talking to people, we're meeting people. So my social battery was like on 0 by the time we left the house because I had to get my kid ready, and then that was a whole thing, making sure she eats, and we're not big breakfast people in this household. So it's harder on game days, comp days to get her fed, make sure she eats, make sure it's like nutritious, make sure she's hydrated. And like I said, somewhere in there, making sure I'm doing the same for myself and getting to the venue on time. And again, talking to people and just being social, it can be very draining. I also had like traveling home, nightmare from hell, like stuck on the tarmac for 4 hours in the airplane during a thunderstorm when there's tornadoes like 2 counties over. It was a really long night. My flight was originally supposed to be home at 9:42 p.m., didn't get home till like 3 a.m., and it's me and my daughter traveling, and I'm exhausted, and the mom guilt of like crashing out on the airplane while my daughter is talking about the pilot having to dodge lightning was awful. And she was like, "Mom, you were just asleep. Like, I think you were snoring." And I felt terrible. Now, the whole point of me saying all this is I come home, right? Now I've got the other two kids who have missed me, my husband who's missed me. We're decompressing, telling him all about the competition. So kind of reliving everything. And, we kind of get back to normal routine, except for the fact that my internal battery is like on negative 50. Okay. I don't even know how that's possible. Like, I think the next day like took a 5-hour nap. I don't know if that's a 5-hour nap a thing, but it happened. I took like a 5-hour nap, like Tylenol, ibuprofen. I had to like medicate myself just to kind of like heal and recover from going to that competition. Now, it's one of those, if you know, it takes a lot out of you. And I'm sure, and I wasn't even performing. So I'm sure my athlete was like feeling the same way. Like Cecilia was probably like dead exhausted. And then to come back home and have to get normal life together. Cecilia also had a track meet like 2 days later. So we're trying to get ready for that. And so it was just like a lot, like to try and recover, like I couldn't recover. I think my internal battery is still maybe at like 70%. It's been raining, there's just been a lot going on, decompressing everything that went over. And then it kind of hit me, as I'm sitting in my outfit that I've worn 2 days in a row because I'm just so exhausted. Don't worry, I showered, but running to the store without my hair done, no makeup on, looking greasy, it just hit me like I'm healing. I am healing from a competition that took everything out of me emotionally, what felt like spiritually, because I don't think Jesus has heard me talk to him so much in 4 days. Took everything spiritually out of me, physically out of me, because we're doing all this walking and moving. And I realized like, it's not going to be pretty. Like, this is my version of healing, and it's not cute, and it looks slumpy and messy, and I'm kind of living like a sloth, one day at a time, minute by minute, lots of coffee, an energy drink sprinkled here and there. But then I realized, my kid went to her track meet, made it, had all of her snacks packed, her clothes washed. I've been making dinners at home. The house is clean. Laundry's getting done. I got a lot done. As cute as I want to be. But I thrived through that healing process. And that really got like me thinking that I see all these other cheer moms on TikTok and they've got their cute sets. And even in real life, and I went to Tampa, and it's not hating. Y'all, I don't want to hate because y'all were looking fly. And if you're the type of mom that can like come back from that competition and like get your life together, and I'm not working right now, so thank God I didn't have to go back to work. But if you're the type of mom who can just like roll with it, or dad, right? Because dads were out there killing it too. If you're the type of parent that can go to this thing and have all that going on, and then you can come back to your normal life like no big deal, kudos to you. I need your secrets. But for me, healing from that competition was not cute. And again, I see your moms in your set, and I've been doom scrolling, and I'm looking, and I'm getting inspo and, feedback, because this was my first youth summit that I've gone to. And some of y'all recover very quickly, and you come back and you look cute, and you've got your makeup, and, the dads have washed the glitter out, and they're back in their suits and their 9-to-5s. And I'm like, dang, okay, like maybe y'all aren't feeling it. And again, right, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe that's just what they have to do, and on camera they look super fly. But you're only letting us see what we want to see in the reels, what you want us to see. And it really got me thinking, like, healing, everybody's healing journey is different. But why do we have to feel like you've got to do this glamorous sound bath in a tea garden when really the only bath I want is the one upstairs in my bedroom? Yes, drowning myself in the bathtub, and I don't say that in a unhealthy way. But, just laying underwater in my garden tub in my home is how I want to heal. And it's not cute. It's not aesthetically pleasing. It's not going to a spa and spending buku bucks after already spending buku bucks and showing you the highlight reel of it. No, it's actually real, and it's my garden tub. And it's me healing the way I want it to heal. And like I said, I think with everything social media, people really have us feeling like we've got to either spend money or this is the way we have to heal by going to this glamorous spa, by doing these things. And that's not true. And as I was kind of thinking about this episode, and thinking about healing really at its core, I really brought it back to nature again. Nature teaches us so much, and I feel like we really take nature for granted. When there's a grass fire, right, everything burns. The grass is burnt, it's down to dirt, it stinks, it's crispy, it's crunchy, and you pass by that patch all the time and you feel like, dang, that patch of grass is burnt. How awful. But then I think as you pass that patch of grass, day by day, you start to notice more green coming out, more sprouts. Here in Texas, it's wildflower season, so our wildflowers are coming out. And I've seen many a grass fires. And when you pass by that patch, that field, whatever that's been like burnt to hell, maybe a week later, a month later, a year later, you see healthier grass coming back. And you've realized, like, that patch never looked so good. And the whole time I've been driving past it, the grass is greener. It healed better. It had to go through hell to look this good again. And I thought, dang, why can't we take that in real life? You've been burnt. You've been dragged through hell, all 9 circles of it, 12 circles of hell, whatever. You're dragged through it. But when you heal day by day, hour by hour, month by month, maybe year by year, you'll notice you come back stronger, maybe a little greener, lessons learned, maybe a little healthier. And it wasn't always pretty. You had to get burned to heal that way. And that's okay. I think we need to realize that. And yeah, sure, maybe in there you got, a spa day. You got treated to some rain or some gorgeous sunshine. Maybe the soil's healthier. I don't know the science behind it, like what happens after a grass fire. But something happens. Something happens to where the grass just doesn't die. It comes back on its own time. And a lot of times you don't see people like throwing more grass seed. It sprouts back up. The roots that were built, that were instilled, are still there. The top layer may not be pretty, but underneath all of that, they're still good. And that good comes out. And I know that sounds super hippy dippy, but to me, it really struck something. While we're healing, it doesn't always have to be pretty. And again, I see it all the time on social media. The sponsored ads, the girlies that are doing the spas and going to the hot springs and everything. And that's great. I can't fit that into my timeline. I'm super broke, right? Youth Summit was expensive to travel out of state for us and get there, hotels, Airbnb, car rental, sharing, food, getting into the competition. There's a lot that goes into that. So I'm broke, physically, mentally exhausted, and it's not pretty. So when I come back, yeah, I'm tired. I've got bags under my eyes. I'm exhausted. And I kind of forgot where I was going. But you know what I mean. It takes a lot to look pretty, to look glamorous. And, it's not always spas and rainbows and sunshine when we get back. It's work. It takes work to heal, get back to normal, get back into a routine. And like I said, I'm proud of myself because I actually, got the kids ready, got them back, projects done, schoolwork caught up. getting back to the norm. We're just still not super cute, right? Same thing. Our bodies teach us so much too. You heard it in the poem, Harlem by Langston Hughes. It's, does a dream fester? Does it bubble over? Does it stink? Does it, or is it something sugary sweet, but it's still crusty? What happens when we heal? What happens when we defer a dream? It's not cute all the time. It takes work. And sometimes it does look sugary sweet. Other times it stinks like rotten meat. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but I did. So think about that. I really want us to concentrate, and I would love to see more real healing and what real healing looks like. And I do think that sound baths, healing frequencies, I do all of that. But a lot of times it's in my garden tub upstairs in my bathroom, and I put it on my speaker and I've got the healing frequencies and things like that because I really can't afford to go to these really great spas. And luckily I live in a city where there's like free events or, donation events where you can do sound baths, cool things like that, have a community to heal with. Anyways, I went on like a weird tangent, but what I want to mention too is when we scrape ourselves, fall down, have a wound, that wound is gross and it's ugly. And I think back to I had a C-section with my third child who literally came out ass backwards, okay? And horrible experience, but I had to have an emergency C-section. And I remember the healing process for that was awful. That's something nobody tells you about. I've seen those moms on like Instagram, TikTok, because I always did it with all my pregnancies. Like, oh, what if I have to have this C-section? Like, what does that look like? And I saw a lot of videos of like women that were like up, moving around. I just had a C-section and I feel great. And they've got their cute little robes on and everything's hunky-dory. So I have a high pain tolerance. I'm thinking, if this ever happens to me, I can totally go through it. I've had surgeries before. No big deal, right? Ha, absolutely not. I remember going into surgery, they keep you awake the whole time. You can feel the tugging and pulling, and then out comes, this gorgeous human being. There's life. It's supposed to be this happy moment, but now I'm getting sewn up. I'm in pain, which, great anesthesiologist. I didn't feel too much, but you still feel things. And afterwards, all I want to do is just hold my baby, and I couldn't do that. I was super sick from all the medications that were given to me. So I couldn't hold anything down. When all I wanted to do was hold my baby, I've got nurses yelling in my ear that I need to feed her, I need to nurse her, I'm not nursing her enough. She hasn't peed or pooped enough. So while my body is trying to heal from all the trauma that just went on, I've now got these nurses and my husband and this baby, and I just want to heal. I just want time to heal. And you don't really have time for that in the hospital because there's so much going on. They're checking the baby, all the things. And then when you get home, you've got this scar. I still had like some padding, like the coverings, like the wound covering kind of there. And you don't see your doctor until 6 weeks out. So I do the thing, I take off the coverings, I do what they say, I try and shower. Well, let me tell you what, it was not cute. I'm looking down at this scar, and mind you, I've still got like the leftover pregnancy belly, and it's trying to heal. And like when you heal, when you have that scab or those wounds or those cuts, it gets really tight. And like the stitches are tight, but things are kind of cracking underneath because you're moving and you're trying not to move too much. But then you've got a nurse every 2 hours. Like you have to move. And, I'm in the position where luckily my husband was able to take the kids to school and do things like that because I can't drive. And it wasn't glamorous. I was not in a cute, rosy pink robe. Trouble getting out of bed. Thank God they had new technology, where the bassinet can go closer to the bed, but I've still got to pick the 6, 7 pound baby up. And that's a strain. And what if I have to go downstairs just to get some water? Or, I had my weird setup in my bedroom, but I've still got to move around. I've still got to be able to function, all while trying to heal. And it was not pretty. There were a lot of tears. There was a lot of angry yelling at my husband, like, why can't you be off? Why don't we have a nanny? Like, what are we doing? And I know he was trying his best to support, do everything he could while he's working his 12-hour shifts, and do everything with the other kids while I can concentrate on healing and taking care of the baby. But I think what made me so angry is I've got this cut. It doesn't smell good. I've got to air it out. And then I've got a baby I've got to take care of every 2 hours. It wasn't cute. It wasn't what I saw. Nobody was like, this is what you're going to go through. This is the healing process. And yes, everybody is different. So it may have looked different for somebody else. But for me, it was like, oh my God, is this normal? Is this an infection? I'm going to the doctor, I'm calling them, and they're like, oh, okay, you know what? That's normal. But if you start seeing grosser things or oozing, and then you need to come in, go to my 6-week checkup. And she's like, no, girlfriend, this is your body healing from me cutting through 7 layers of your body. It's not going to be pretty. There's going to be tape. There's going to be weird smells. There's going to be weird feelings, even a year or 2 afterwards. And there totally was. There was numbness. There was a lot. It honestly probably took my body closer to a year, 2 years to really heal and really feel normal. And I thought, geez, Louise, this isn't anything I researched or anything I saw on social media or the parenting books of what if this happens to you. And so I thought, man, I don't know if those people were lying or they cut and edited these clips to where it looks super pretty. I was never that girl to wear makeup in the hospital or bring my own gowns because I'm ew, I'm a germaphobe and I'm just going to wear whatever the hospital has because I don't want to bring that stuff back and have to wash it. It's just weird, okay? I'm weird. Y'all already know that. But healing had to be done on my own terms, on my body's own terms. I could not control what was happening to my scar, which I also think contributed to so much feelings, so many emotions, so many angry at myself because I couldn't control the healing process. I just had to let my body do what it does. And looking back now, 5 years later, I'm like, dang, I went through all of that. And while at the time I was an emotional wreck, I was a physical wreck, I realized how strong I was, how amazing it was that I brought a child onto this earth, a human being from my body, and how amazing it is, right? That my doctor was able to cut through all these layers, get my child out, her be completely healthy, me be completely healthy, and what seemed like a disaster kind of turned into this beautiful thing. It really made me realize how strong I was mentally and physically, because a lot of times for women, we go through a lot and we don't talk about it, and we don't talk about the ugly side of things like a C-section or birth. You do hear some horror stories, but then we always get the shutdown oh, it's a part of life, right? It's what you deal with as a woman and you just get over it. And I don't think that's fair. I think that we really should have time to heal, time to talk about it, because it really helps. And honestly, if my husband wasn't there for me to talk to tell him all these things, if I wasn't so open with my OB to let her know, is this normal? This is gross. And really get down to the nitty gritty with her, if I wasn't comfortable in communicating those things, I don't know if I honestly would have got through it. It is so hard. And I think we need to be more open about that. Low key, healing is not always aesthetic. It's not always pleasing. It's not always easy. Sometimes it could be you being drugged through all the circles of hell, being burned, being scarred, being cut, being bruised. And you've got to give yourself time to heal. You've got to surround yourself with people you can talk to, openly talk to, by the way. Find support groups, journal it, meditate over it. And you don't have to spend millions of dollars to go to spas. If you want to, kudos. But there are ways you can do it at home, alone, with friends. I definitely recommend with friends. Healing with friends is a lot easier. Sometimes it can look like me sitting in my living room, venting to strangers on a podcast with my hair not done, with the same outfit on, no makeup, just looking greasy. Healing has to be done on its own time, on its own terms. We can't rush it. We can't push it. We've just got to let it fester, bubble over, let it get through its phases. And once that scab falls off, once the grass starts breaking through the other side, we realize that we are better than how we were before. Even if it's just a 1% change, there's changed. You're healing. You're becoming the person you're supposed to. So don't ignore nature. Don't ignore your gut. Don't ignore the facts. And yes, pat the people on the back who can do it aesthetically, but also pat yourself on the back for getting out of bed, for taking another breath, for healing on your own terms, because you're really doing better than you think. Give yourself time. Okay. Thank you for listening. Okay. Bye. If this conversation met you where you are, stay with me. New episodes every week on Low Key Thriving. If this felt like something someone else might need, send it their way. Take what you need and leave the rest. And remember, keep it light